Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fraser Not the Exorcist. And today, I really wanted to share my thoughts on the new Doctor Strange movie, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Now, usually, these kinds of videos, my movie reviews usually go up to about 20 minutes or something like that. But honestly, I think this one is actually gonna be really short, like really brief. So let's get into it. So first of all, the plot. So basically, the plot of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is in the film. Doctor Strange is trying to protect America Chavez from Wanda, also known as Scarlet Witch, because Scarlet Witch wants to use America Chavez's multiverse jumping powers to get children because I didn't watch WandaVision or anything like that, but Wanda had kids, but they weren't like real kids. She made up those kids. But then in the movie they say that dreams are windows into the multiverse, and she dreamed about kids, about having kids every night. So she wants to use America Chavez to travel through the multiverse into the timeline where not timeline into the universe where she has kids and basically be their mother. So that's basically the plot of it. And usually at this point I take a great deal of time to separate the positives from the negatives, but to be fair, uh, to be fair, there isn't really that much to go through. My points are pretty standard, honestly. So let's just get straight to it. Now, as far as the positives, um, it's the regular stuff. All right. If you've seen the past Doctor Strange movie, then it's the same positives as that one. The special effects look good. Well, I'll save that for last. All right, because I just had a thought about that. All right, the acting. Acting is great. Acting is great all around. Benedict Cumberbatch, Elizabeth Olsen, Chiwetel Ejiofor. I'm not sure if the Benedict Wong, Jacotel Gomez. She's the new and Jacotel Gomez and Rachel McAdams. Gomez is the newcomer. She plays. Give me one second. Gomez is the newcomer. She plays America Chavez in the movie. So acting all around great. Love the acting as usual. It's always great. Okay, special effects. Well, all right. Special effects is where we kind of run into a more personal problem for me because I haven't seen anyone complain about the special effects. And for the most part, I think they're good. But I think this Doctor Strange movie went into a bit of an overload with the special effects. Because, like, of course, it's Doctor Strange, all right? He's a sorcerer supreme. They're making all of these things happen with their mind and hand movements and stuff like that. So, of course, you can't really use practical effects to achieve that. But I don't know. I think for some reason the special effects in this just didn't. It just didn't feel well. Well, at some points I could say the special effects just didn't look that good to me. Like compared to it seemed kind of inconsistent throughout the film. Like for instance, when spoilers, of course, just in case you could tell. When Doctor Strange and America Chavez were basically falling and breaking through various multiverses, the CGI was inconsistent there. All of that is to be expected. You know, it's a pretty fast-paced scene, and you only get a glimpse into every reality. So that's kind of to be expected. It's a pretty brief scene too. it doesn't like throw anything off or anything like that. So I kind of like that one pass. But the one that really kind of bothered me and that I really kind of noticed, like, oh, this doesn't look that good, I would have to say, is the those monsters that guard Scarlet Witch when she gets to her throne in this distant Darkland place. They when she takes Wong to that place and they see these like rock monsters who guard the place and were basically waiting for her to come and take her throne. They look kind of off to me. Like they kind of look like almost like video game graphics like level of CGI. And while like they like they don't look like terrible, like whoa, this is like really bad, really big downgrade from Marvel, but they do look kind of, like it just kind of bothered me. All right, so it didn't ruin the film or anything for me. It's not like a big a big problem for me or anything like that, but it's just something that I noticed. So that's about it for the positives. It's just the regular stuff. All right, just think about the regular stuff, and that's positive. They did a good job with that. Now, as far as the negatives, that's where we run into problems because like I don't have a lot of bad things to say about the film, but the one bad thing that I do have to say is a really, 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 really big problem, and that is the pacing. The pacing of this film is what brought it down for me. It's what made it lose so many points for me to the point where I could now like safely call it disappointing. All right, like this movie kind of taught me a lesson when it comes to pacing because before, like I've seen movies with bad pacing and I've seen how it can affect the entire film, but I've never seen anything to this extent. I've never seen anything this bad, which is weird coming from Marvel because they usually find a pretty good balance in their movies, to where it feels like your time was, like it was well chopped up, well edited, well put together. But in this one, the pacing is horrible, like from start to finish. The second you jump into this film, you get the action, which is good. It's nice to start things off with a bang. Marvel usually starts off with action scenes, but like basically to show what the characters can do and what they can still do if they have any new abilities or anything like that. So yeah, that's normal. That's normal stuff. But the movie does not stop. This movie is how much? Like I think it's like 2 hours, 2 hours 6 minutes long. It's 2 hours 6 minutes long, and I don't think that's a bad runtime. Most Marvel movies are over 2 hours anyway, so it's kind of just a normal affair by this point. But this movie, I think it doesn't spend that time well. Sorry for the noise in the background, because the pacing just keeps going. That's the problem. It just keeps going. It doesn't stop. This is a movie that I think needed emotional weight to it. Right? And it has all of the tools to deliver that emotional weight with the characters of Strange, and with him, he's Christine, his girl from the last movie. She's getting married. Their relationship didn't work out. All right, so that's the thing for him in the film. And with Wanda, she has this big emotional weight of wanting to have kids, but she can't have kids. Can she like have sex and have kids? I'm not sure, but anyway, but yeah, she doesn't have kids basically, but she wants kids. So it's basically like how. So it's like asking how far would you go to get what you can't have, or to get what like is seemingly out of your reach. Like how many people are you willing to hurt, stuff like that. And and that's and even with America Chavez, she has some emotional weight to her, to where it's like she doesn't really trust people because of what past Doctor Strange did to her, where he was about to basically drain her life energy. So she has problems trusting this Strange, and but they do nothing with the emotion in this film. Well, they do some things, but it's not nearly enough in my opinion. I think that emotion could have really helped this film to be really really good or really really great, but they just didn't use it well because they just kept going. The movie just like keeps going. There isn't a moment to sit down, and they don't have to like literally sit down, but there isn't a moment where they effectively deal with the emotional weight of the film and to really like make it a thing and make it good. They just kind of mention it here and there. They kind of have like a little 2 minute, 3 minute sit down about it or something like that. But it just like the movie just keeps going. Like this, like the feeling of watching this movie is just that it keeps going. It just like from the start, action, 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 action. Which I don't have a problem with action, but in a movie like this, emotion is very important, and I don't think that they made that as much of a priority as it needed to be made. So that's basically my biggest problem with Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is that the pacing is really really bad. They did not do a good job balancing it out with the action. They did not do a good job of balancing it out with the special effects and stuff. They just kind of just kept going and didn't stop, which I think was a really bad idea because now that just kind of threw the whole film out of whack. And and honestly, the movie just kind of seems kind of inconsequential, really. Like almost as if you don't really have to watch it in the first place anyway. Almost as if like you could just tell someone what happened, and even like you could just tell someone what happened, and that would be enough of an experience instead of actually watching it. Because of course the CGI is a spectacle, and it's a whole experience and stuff like that, but nothing really stands out, nothing really gets a chance to shine, because the movie just keeps going from scene to scene. Like I'm making it sound like if I'm complaining about normal stuff about films, but it's just like I, I think it is something that you have to experience for yourself, like actually watching the film. This because I got this weird feeling watching the movie. It just kept going and didn't really deal with its emotional problems, basically that the characters had. So that's basically my biggest complaint. I think the pacing in this film is really, really, really brought it down so many pegs for me. Um, and nothing, and because of the pacing, nothing good really stood out to me. Like, yeah, Benedict Cumberbatch was good, but he was good in the last film too. Elizabeth Olsen. Oh, oh, all right. I'll get to that in a second. Elizabeth Olsen. I think they made an effort for her performance to stand out in this film, and I have seen some special uh, some special acclaim for her performance online. But honest, I mean, like, yeah, she does do a great job. There is a spotlight put on her throughout the film, which I don't mind. Like, it's really enjoyable seeing her just run through everyone that gets in her way, but it just doesn't feel. I don't know, like it just didn't feel as good as it could have been because the pacing just kept going. It just kept going. That's the best I can describe it. It just kept going. You have to see it for yourself to understand. I think you're gonna understand when you see it. All right. So that's basically it. And another feeling that I had about the film, because like like the pacing throws it off so much. So another feeling that I got about the film, that I think is kind of correct, is that this movie was just a reason to show off the future of the MCU. It just felt like an ad for their multiverses, because because when we get to this special multiverse, I forget which one they name it. But basically the one that has Wanda and her family, right? And we get to see the Illuminati. So they show us who's in the Illuminati. There's Captain Carter, Agent Carter. Like, instead of Steve Rogers, she becomes the first Avenger. She looks great in the suit. Then we had give me 1 second. Oh, they brought in Patrick Stewart. He came back as Charles Xavier, Professor X. He's in the Illuminati as well. We have Haley Atwell. Wait, no, she's Captain Carter. Sorry about that. We have Monica Rambeau, Maria Rambeau, not sure which one it is, but Lashana Lynch played Captain Marvel. She played Captain Marvel's. I think she played Monica Rambeau in the Captain Marvel movie, but in this she becomes Captain Marvel instead. So she's the Captain Marvel of this universe, and we got Black Bolt as well, and of course the one that everyone was hoping for. We couldn't wait to see Reed Richards. We got to see John Krasinski, as a lot of people predicted, as Reed Richards, and well, also known as Mr. Fantastic. And they're in the movie for like a combined about what, like 10 minutes, which is enough, enough to get people excited, enough to say, hey, yeah, they are here and they'll be back in the future. I'm not sure what their plans are with them, but it did kind of feel like sort of like an advertisement for their future projects, basically. Uh, so that's about it. That's about my thoughts. I said that this wasn't gonna go to 20 minutes, but I'm looking at the timer, and it's almost 20 minutes. We're gonna go over 20 minutes. I'm sorry. Okay. So basically, that's all I have to say about the movie. I don't think it's bad. I don't think that it's a terrible film or anything like that. If anything, the only performance that stood out to me was America Chavez. I can't pronounce her first name, but Gomez. I'll just call her Gomez. I recognize her from the Babysitters Club. She was good in there, and she was good in here too. I know that America Chavez is a pretty controversial character. Her existence is pretty controversial, but I know not much to literally nothing about her character in the comics, so I cannot speak on that. But I know that she's a controversial character. But for what it's worth, from what I can see, she does a great job as a character, and I'm willing. I'd like to see her again in the future. So because she did a good job. And as far as the end credit scenes, they don't really mean anything. All right. Not really much to go through with those, honestly. Nothing kind of worth seeing. Actually, I'm kind of curious as to what they're gonna do with Doctor Strange next, based on how this one ended. That's one thing I'm not gonna spoil if you haven't watched the movie yet. If for some reason you got this far and you still haven't watched the movie, but I'm curious to see what they're gonna do with it next. So basically, that's it. That's it. Those are my thoughts on the film. It's not a bad movie, but the pacing is horrible. Every regular thing that you can think about as a positive of the previous film is a positive of this film. I thought the CGI was inconsistent in some small moments, but for the most part, it was good. Basically good. Basically good. So that's all I have to say. The pacing threw this film off completely. I think it would have been way better if they had just nailed the balance between the emotion and the action, and if things just weren't moving as fast as they made it move. So those are all my thoughts. All in all, I'd say Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is a decent film. Um, I probably give it like 6 out of 10. Honestly, at this point, I don't really see myself watching it again, aside from like watching it with a friend or something like that, or someone else who wanted to see it. But by myself, willingly going to see this again, eh, not a big chance, honestly, because the pacing just kind of threw me off. I kind of got all the enjoyment I think I could get from it in one sitting, in my first sitting. So that's about it. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to see when I upload. Thanks. My name is Fraser, not the Exorcist. I'll see you all next time. God bless.